Class is in session. Yet another edition of the Heezy Hoopcast with Bread vs. Yoga, powered by AnimalHeezy.com. I encourage you to visit AnimalHeezy.com at your earliest convenience and invite yourself to betterness. R.I.P. my nigga Kahuna, R.I.P. my nigga Ray Jew, and I'm back with the fourth podcast in the last 2 days. I took about a week off and I was like, I don't like this shit. So I think now I'm beginning to overcompensate to kind of account for that lapse in podcast. So I'm back in this motherfucker, and like I said on the very last one, sometimes the internet gives you so much to work with that, you know, it makes this so much easier and shit. So yeah, first off, happy National Mario Day. Like, you know, Mario from Super Mario Brothers, you know, it's me, Mario. That Mario. Happy Mario Day. He was the trillest, the realest, the illest to ever kill it. And on Mario Day, I wake up to Nicki Minaj finally responding to Remy Ma. I'm not gonna get too in depth about this. I'm mainly doing this because I did the Sheether podcast, so and I brought up points then that kind of really resonate with what's going on right now and shit. And one of the things was I said that Nicki, if she was smart, the best response would be no response. And I don't know. Maybe I got to get my listenership up or something. I don't think she heard it. I don't think she heard me say that because she went against the grain. She went against me. She disobeyed daddy. No, I'm just joking. But I really thought the best thing she could have did was not respond at all. And I cited one of the reasons being because she's never really been a battle rapper, or at least been a battle rapper in the capacity that Remy Ma actually was. You know, she was actually, on those, what was it, smack battles? I think it was smack battles and shit. But yeah, she was on that shit back in the day. And I heard somebody else make the interesting point that Young Money don't really do disses. Or was that her that made the point? Yeah, that was her. She said, Young Money don't do disses. We make songs about people and diss them. I mean, we make songs. We make hits, then diss people in them. I could kind of see that being true because Wayne never really dropped a diss track on anybody before. Like just a whole diss track. I know he said, I think Gilly the Kid was the only nigga who name he ever took a shot at and said their name, you know. Gilly, man, I don't think these niggas should really fuck with me. The gun, I be urgently working it, twerking it perfectly. Circle the black of black. Yeah, all that shit. But, you know, them niggas don't do that. Them niggas don't really get down like that over there. Except for Drake. Drake has a history of battle rap, and Nicki Minaj tried to approach it with the Drake approach, with the back-to-back approach. And I think Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj both tried to go at each other with the Drake approach, apparently since Drake is the new standard for how to kill a nigga career, which is amazing that Drake is their standard of all people. But I think they both tried to employ Drake's strategy, Remy Ma with the one diss right after the other, Nicki Minaj with the I'm gonna diss you to a hit song aspect of it, and I think they both failed in their attempts. They both landed slightly off the mark in their execution, but that's fine. And Nicki shouldn't have fucking responded, because now I gotta go ahead and give it to Remy Ma. Remy Ma won this unless Nicki come back with that slaughter. But no, nigga. That ain't it though. That ain't it. You can't Drake this shit. You can't back to back this shit. Because even with back to back, even though there was like a club song, it had a club feel to it. It had that energy to it. It had that bounce to it. It had that that level of aggression in the rhythm and in his cadences. And this shit was like any normal old Nicki Minaj song that's getting skipped in rotation. You know? So I have no idea why she responded. She almost had it. She shouldn't have said shit. And if she was going to say shit, it shouldn't have been that shit. I tried to ride. I wasn't trying to be Team Nicki, but I was trying to, provide perspective that Nicki really got the upper hand in this shit if she uses it. And she didn't use it. And that's kind of my dad on that about that. Like, I can't even get really more in-depth or analytical about that shit. She should have not said shit. She should have just ignored her. She said something back. It was whack. Remy Ma shit was just flawed enough for Nicki to be able to not respond and still come out on top. But since she responded, that's it. Ball game. Remy Ma, add another dub to your dub column and everything. And I really just hope I hope more women get involved. I hope it turns into a battle royale. I hope Jean Grey comes out of nowhere. I hope Azalea Banks come out of nowhere. I hope Iggy Azalea comes out of nowhere with a viewpoint on this shit. I hope this shit becomes to women what Kendrick Lamar's Control verse was to all of these sensitive ass male rappers and shit. So that's my dad on that, man. We're going to go ahead and keep it short and sweet just like that. I really would have loved to hear Nicki go get really venomous about this shit, like really tear her fucking head off instead of taking the cool, laxed approach like, I'm too big for all this shit. Like, I wish I would have seen her really go back at her throat and turn it into a blood sport competition. Because even when Jay-Z was taking his subtle shots at people, or he was killing you in a real cool, calm, collected, I got way more money than you, I'm way bigger than you'll ever dream you can be. Even when he was getting at niggas like that shit, he was still getting at niggas. He was still putting, hollow tips in your heart, where you pump blood at. Like, he really put it there. Even if it was a silent sniper shot, he really put it there, put it on the money. And I think Nicki Minaj is misguided in trying to take the I'm too big for this approach without, proving that she's actually too big with these lines and shit. Like, it wasn't potent at all. I'm disappointed. Yeah. And I'm disappointed that I gotta admit that I was wrong and shit. So yeah, man, Heezy Who Cares. 4 Pod 2 days, man. Let's get it. We gonna keep this shit running, man. When everybody else is gone, nigga, we'll still be standing. Heezy Who Cares. AnimalHeezy.com. Mighty Mighty Black and White Animal House. Or as we always said since 09, Animal Heezy.